Maharaja Sayajirao University, Faculty of Commerce as a professor, and then I had been shifted to the Sardar Patel University, Vidyanagar as a Vice Chancellor. Today I will be going for GST series. If you recall, we had reached up to the taxable event, and that is supply. Some of the points I will just recall. Number one, this supply is a combination of sale of goods, manufacturing of the goods, providing of the services. Importing is not there, income tax is not there, so that becomes the GST, and in that GST, supply by supplier to recipient, that's what we have seen. But there are some conditions which we have studied, and that is related to it must be with consideration. Supply without consideration is not possible. Again, it is for furtherance of the business. That is, the person who is selling the goods, that is, he is doing his business. That's why there must be a furtherance of the business. It is not the donation. It is not giving as a related person, etc. So that is not allowed. So we have studied supply. But it is not complete. There is a long way to go for the term supply. Supply has got so many meanings or so many aspects to be considered under the supply. Out of which there are 3 points which require to be covered, and that also will take a lot of time. 1. There is a schedule number 1 under section 7 C. Second schedule is there and the third schedule is there. So these are the 3 schedules, and 3 schedules are having 3 different categories. Category number 1, that when it is coming listed under schedule 1, it is whether with consideration or without consideration, whether furtherance of the business or not, that is immaterial, it will be taxed. That is point number 1. Point number 2, whenever we are talking about GST, it is a goods and services tax. So there are services also, there are goods also, there is a composition also. Let's say the works contract, construction of a building. So there are both the things. The cement is sold, steel is sold, bricks are sold, and combination of that there is a construction service. So this works contract has got lot of goods and services also. So this will be considered as service, not as goods. Supply of services. So this schedule 2 defines, that is, whether this supply is supply of goods or supply of services, it has been separately listed. So that is schedule number 2. We are going for schedule number 3, and that schedule 3 is rather all transactions, all supplies, all transfer of goods or services. They will not be considered as either supply of goods nor they will be considered as supply of services. What does it mean? They are exempted from the GST. So these are the 3 schedules as I have stated. Now these 3 schedules will not be completed today. Even the schedule number 1 also will not be completed today. Partly we will try to complete. Partly. And that is, let us say, the first one. The activities related to supply. That is what we are going to see. Schedule 1 I am talking about. In that it is must, whether supply is with consideration or without consideration. That supply without consideration is considered in the first, in the list of schedule 1. Now what is that? The supply is permanent transfer of the assets of the business. Let us assume that somebody who is going to stop his business, he don't want to continue. His age is crossing 60, 70, 80 like that. Now he don't want. So he will dispose of his business assets. But mind it, in this business assets, he has already taken the input tax credit. So he cannot just donate, give away. So that is not possible. So for that particular aspect, he has to make payment of input tax credit on that goods which he has already taken. So that is must. So we may even, let us say he is transferring to his son, he is transferring to any trust, whatever it is, but that goods are, that is asset, and they are being transferred, disposed of. We are going for, just as stated to you, donation. Nothing wrong in giving the donations, but the business assets, when you are donating, be careful. That business assets you have taken the input tax credit, and that's why the donation is not allowed without making payment of GST. That's why it is being called, donation is called as an also supply. Let's say one more thing. I am a grocery merchant. I have purchased the chocolates. Now in that chocolate, let's say 50 chocolates, but every day I am consuming one chocolate. So somehow 10 chocolates I have consumed by myself because I like chocolate. In that situation, it is not supply, but still under the schedule 1, it will be considered as a supply, and on that the GST will have to be paid. Why? Because while purchasing that chocolates, we have taken the input tax credit, and that's why the GST is liable to be paid. Let's say the third example. The business has got the old vehicle, and that it is to be transferred, supplied to someone, or sale of it. Mind it, whenever we are talking about the vehicle, no ITC is available on purchase of vehicle. Only when you are doing the business of training of drivers for getting the license, or you have got the repairing garage of the motor car, or you may have the business of purchasing, buying the cars and selling the cars or the vehicles. In that case, the input tax credit is available. Otherwise, input tax credit to the business who is doing some grocery merchant or cloth merchant, etc., his car purchase, no input tax credit is available. Sometimes the goods are being sold based on warranty. In that case also, it is sometimes considered as an doubtful. So whether the warranty means what? Guarantee, warranty in the business is always given. Let's say the car is purchased in a business. There is a warranty of 1 year. And in that warranty period, it has been stated that if any spare part is faulty, and that's why the supplier has to change it. In that case, it will be free of charge. Then in that situation, no GST will be paid on warranty on some spare parts of the vehicle. I have already stated to you, there is a private use, that you have the grocery shop and you are selling grocery, and simultaneously you are supplying it to your home. In that case, this private use, you will have to make payment of GST. There is no possibility that it is without GST, it cannot be exempted. Sometimes a taxable person, who is taxable person? Who has registered under the GST Act. He becomes the person who is taxable. Now that taxable person ceases to be taxable somehow, his turnover is going down less than 40,000 in case of goods and 20,000 in case of services. In such situation, he may apply an cancellation of registration. Then he is not the taxable person. So if that person is not taxable person, even then when he was taxable person, whatever he has purchased, input tax credit he has taken, so he will have to make payment of GST even if you are seizing from the taxable person. Let us say transfer of the, let's say the second part of this particular schedule 1, and that is the supply to the related person. Whenever it is related, just now I have stated that when the grocery shop you are sending the goods, supplying the goods to your home, obviously it is related. You are giving it to your wife, you are giving it to your father, mother or any, so they are the related person. So whenever there is a supply to the related person, obviously what will happen? Either it will be free, you are supplying it, or you are charging a discounted rate. Then it is not allowed. Under GST, whenever you are supplying to the related person, then it will be valued. And for that valuation, it is stated in this schedule 2 that what the price in the open market of these goods which you are selling or supplying to the related person, then that market price, 90% of that must be charged whenever you are supplying to the related person. So that is must. So this is how one is related person. Then let's say a distinct person. What the meaning? Related person, you have to make payment of tax, that is clear. But then what is distinct person? The supplier is having his one office in Vadodara. He is registered. If any other office he is having in Gujarat, then it is not needed to have a separate registration. Under one registration he can work. But if the supplier is opening his business in Rajasthan, then in that case he has to register under the Rajasthan Goods and Services Tax, SGST. Maybe at Delhi, maybe at Bangalore, you may have many. Even if it is under the one PAN card, even then these all sites, let us say Bangalore or Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, they all will be considered as a distinct person, even if it is your own. In a way, from Baroda you are supplying the goods and services to your own branches. In such situation, they will be considered as a distinct person and the GST will be levied on such supply to the distinct person.